All right. So today's lesson and yesterday's go hand in hand. So today you're going to be given something that looks like a parallelogram, but then you have to decide based on its markings or the information they give you if it is or isn't. So that's what we are doing today. You're deciding if something that looks like a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, if it is or isn't a parallelogram. So just know that they're going to try to trick you, and you want to be smarter than the problem, all right? Which you guys are. Okay, so let's recap our properties that make a quadrilateral a parallelogram, okay? What do we know about opposite sides?
They're congruent.
They are congruent. Now, the thing is, you'd have to have both pairs. So that's why I highlighted these over here. Both pairs of opposite sides would have to be congruent. What else do you guys know about opposite sides? Parallel. That's right. They're congruent and they're also parallel. Again, both pairs have to be. Opposite angles, what do we know?
Equal.
Yes, they are equal. Both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. What about our angles next to each other? Yep, they got to add to 180. And you have to have at least two pairs. One's not enough, you have to have at least two. What do we know about diagonals? They bisect each other. Yep, they both have to be cut in half. They bisect each other. And then our last reason why a quadrilateral could be a parallelogram is a different one than like its properties. If you have just one pair of opposite sides that are parallel and congruent, that would be enough to say that it is a parallelogram. But it'd have to be the same pair of opposite sides. All right, so let's try looking at some of these examples. Let's come back to this first one. That one's a bad one to start with. Let's start with the middle one, okay? What do you guys think? Does that look like a parallelogram?
Yeah.
It sure does. Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's equal.
What's equal?
Everything.
Do we have two pairs of opposite sides?
Yes.
Yep. So you're going to say yes. Opposite sides. And you have to give me a little reason. That's how you justify. But you can abbreviate. You can say, yes, opposite sides are congruent. But give me something more than just yes and no. That's not enough information. Give me a little reason why. Okay, the next one. I would say it looks like a parallelogram, right? But is it?
Not enough info.
Why is it not enough info?
Because it doesn't have the side lengths.
Have tick marks though. So I have one pair of opposite sides congruent. Is that enough?
No.
Have to have both, so that doesn't work. But what about these two angles? Those are the same. But we don't have the other two, right? You'd have to have both pairs. Okay, so this one's going to be a no. And you could say, what should we say? Why is it not? What would we need?
Not enough info.
I need more than not enough info. Give me something more specific. What would we need?
The other two opposite angles.
Sure, that would work. Need another pair of opposite angles congruent. Perfect. Okay, now this first one's kind of goofy. What do you guys think? Yes or no?
Yeah. No.
It actually is yes. But why is it yes?
Fill in the boxes. 80 goes across.
Gives you a corresponding.
Right, so I know that these guys add to 180. But wouldn't I need another pair to add to 180?
No, because it would be
Opposite angles.
You just put 80 in the top left because the top.
But I don't know that these are parallel, or do I?
You do, because they're both 14 and
If they're equal to curve.
So they're congruent. So I have one pair of opposite sides congruent. But do I know enough to know if these are parallel?
Yeah, because 100 plus 80 has to.
So what kind of angles are these, you guys? Consecutive interior angles. And when they add to 180, what does that do to your lines?
makes them
Nice parallel.
Makes them parallel. That was a tough one. That was a really hard one. So you would say yes, one pair
Let's go. Famous.
of opposite sides are parallel. It is a lot of writing. To abbreviate, use the parallel symbol and congruent. But I realize it is a lot of writing. Just abbreviate it a little bit, but you gotta give me something more than yes and no. Give me a little something more than yes and no. Good work, folks. Now these next ones are just like yesterday. We are trying to figure out the values of x and y so that it would be a parallelogram. So if we look here, you guys want to find x first or y? X. Okay, what's an equation we can write for x?
7x equals 56.
Right, its opposite angles are congruent. X equals 8. That wasn't too bad. Same thing for our y's. Opposite angles are congruent. Nothing too crazy here. You guys get 30?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, get a head start on the next one if you haven't already. I'll catch up to you.
Dang. I got. I did get it. I got. Hey, man.
What?
This is a shocking dog. I had a chance to this is what you bought.
What?
I could be wrong, but I feel like I don't know why.
Are we okay
I think we got quizzes today.
with those ones? We match? 3 and 7?
Yeah, that's
Okay, wonderful. Okay, flip the page when you're ready. We're going to look what happens when our parallelograms in the coordinate plane.
Colin.
So if we wanted to show a quadrilateral as a parallelogram in the coordinate plane, it's going to be giving us like ordered pairs, right, when you plot them. How would you show it's a parallelogram? You use either the distance formula, slope, or midpoint. So maybe you want to write these down so you remember what they are. That's your distance formula. Then maybe a little bit since we've worked with that.
I don't want to read that.
Make sure you get your minuses and your squares down in the right spot, the plus sign. But we've used this before, so it's not nothing new. But what would the distance formula show you? What would that, like, what would it prove? Which one of your properties would it prove?
What's that like?
Length, right? So if you want congruent length, what would you be showing congruent? What part of your parallelogram? Yes. So I'd probably write a little note here. Shows opposite sides congruent. Give yourself a little note as to what that would help you show. Very good. Very good. We haven't talked about slope in a long time, probably since Thanksgiving. Long time. What would slope help you show?
Something.
It would, yes. What is that something? Parallel. Shows opposite sides are parallel. And if you want something to be parallel, what do you want their slopes to be?
Equal.
Yep, I'm gonna write that right here. Same slope. Remember, that's what parallel means. Same slope. You want them to be the same. Then we used this one yesterday, right? Midpoint. What did midpoint show us yesterday?
Like diagonal bisectors.
Yes, the diagonals bisect, so they have the same midpoint.
Isn't that cool page up there? Hey, page's pretty cool though.
Fantastic.
What's that? I see what he's laughing at, KP. When he moves like this, like he's laughing at you.
I don't know at all.
Okay, are we ready to try this in action? I'll tell you, they're a little tedious, but we'll try to divide the work and conquer so it doesn't seem like it's so much, all right? Make sure no one's still writing the formulas down. Okay, so we're given the ordered pairs of our vertices, and we want to figure out if it is or isn't a parallelogram using the distance formula. So how many times do we have to do the distance formula?
Always.
But we need both pairs of opposite sides to be the same, so we have to do it 4 times.
Hey, good luck, guys.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's do AB together, and then we'll divide and conquer for the notes, okay? So let's all do side AB together, just so we remember how to plug in to the distance formula. So I'm going to label my ordered pairs, so we remember how we plug in. Big square root. So we're going to take your x2, so 8, minus your x1, which is 3, squared, plus your y2, 2, minus your y1, which is 3, squared. That's the hardest part. Now you just simplify. Just plugging in right is the hardest part. What's 8 minus 3? 5 squared. 2 minus 3? -1 squared. Nope. First you gotta square them.
25.
25. What's -1 squared?
Plus 1.
It's 5.9.
Yeah, 26 per root.
Oh, I thought you said 6 squared, but did you say 26 squared? I'm sorry, square root. What is the square root of 26? Okay, 21. Okay, so that's one of our sides. Now for this times table, we'll divide and conquer. Well, this half of the room, you guys do, let's go in order, BC. Okay. Well, you guys do CD. And then I will do AD on the board over here. Okay.
BC.
So you guys do BC, CD, and I'll take care of AD. So you do your next part, and we'll see what we come up with. All right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't remember what that is. Collaborate with the person next to you, see if you got close to the same thing.
Oh, I did it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I did Y2 numbers next to it.
Check on the people around you, see if they got the same thing for your side.
What are we doing again?
Yeah, 3.6. Yeah, 3.6, guys. You guys got 3.6? I did. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 3.6.
There. You have to raise your hands up. This is this. I'll give you like 5.
This one, dude.
Oh, you did BC? Okay.
I want 2.
Okay, so 6 minus. Do you want to do the price of that first one? Yeah, and then oh, no, you just want to jump in. That would be.
I have to arrange that. The gamer gets scammed.
What did we end up getting there?
3.6. Right. I'll just give you this.
So,
What is this?
The negative 1 minus.
This one, dude.
What's that?
2 minus 3.
Does it say negative 5 times negative 5 or negative?
I think it's sports drink.
This or what?
It's sports drink.
What flavor? No.
Is that, did we all at least compare with somebody?
Oh, BC's 3.6.
Okay, we got 3.6 for B. Will you guys write this down in your notes so you have them? What about CD? 5.1? Are we all in agreement with whichever one you found?
Yep.
Okay, so now if we look here, folks, at our segment lengths, would this be enough to say it's a parallelogram?
Yes.
Yes, why?
Because it's parallel.
sides are equal.
Woo! Both pairs
Let's
of
go.
opposite sides are congruent.
Good job, guys.
That was good.
Right then, tough job.
Opposite sides.
Folks, I'm sorry for saying.
Ooh, do you guys see my board flickering or is it just me?
No, it is.
Like it's like giving me like a headache. It's freaking me out. Okay, so that was a lot of work. I agree. You just have one of those on your homework. Just one. So you have to do it 4 times. I know. I'm sorry. Okay, are we ready for the last one?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Woohoo! Lana, you should have licorice every day. You're so vocal. Great.
Yeah.
All right, we're using the midpoint formula this time. What does midpoint formula show you?
Those opposite sides parallel.
No, close though. Next one over.
Diagonals have the same
You're
midpoint.
ruining it.
Right, diagonals have the same midpoint. So which would be our diagonals here? Which 2 together? That would be 1. And,
GJ.
GJ.
okay. Do you guys want to get a head start? Go for it.
Let's
I'm
go.
just gonna label them here.
What? We got another airhead?
Okay, remember, add your x's, divide by 2. Add your y's, divide by 2.
X plus X. 2, 1.
Are we doing slow?
Nope, midpoint.
Ah!
1, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1, 1.
GJ is like 1 something.
Ooh. Did you hear that?
Oh, 1 and 0.5 for GJ.
Yes.
Right?
1, 1.
1.5. Yeah.
Yeah, the other one's 1 point.
No, really?
For 3s?
Oh my god.
I said 1, 1.
We have the rest of this one.
1-1.
It's really good, and I think you
What? Already?
Turn around in your seat, buddies.
I did it.
Did you leave no work showing?
turned around.
Two ahead.
It's your head.
That's no good.
Do we agree with the answers I got?
Yeah.
Okay, so is this a parallelogram?
No.
Sure.
No, because are these the same midpoint?
Nope. No.
So you're saying not a parallelogram.
No. 9. I'm putting 9 on my paper.
Not a parallelogram. Diagonals have different midpoints. Okay, I have another writing prompt for the bottom while I pass out the worksheet. Will you guys write out,
What? What's that?
in today's lesson, what did you struggle with? You finish that sentence and I'll pass out your homework.
I struggled with Sam over here.
That is not true.
Yes, he's being the struggle bus today.
See, I would say the opposite. I think you have been on the struggle bus today. What is something you struggled with today's lesson? Maybe it was just focusing. Maybe you were tired. Maybe none of it made sense. I don't know. You put what works for you.
I struggled with Sam.
Okay. Thank you.
Say please.
Please,